everybody that's anybody in the music business perform live from Studio A.
It's Columbus radio at its finest.
They like it. That's where the support comes from.
I love WCBE, and I can't imagine Columbus without it.
Right now I'm over in Studio A with Scott Gorsuch. He's got a show coming up at Natalie's tonight. It's an early show starting at about 5:15. He also has a new release simply titled The Fifth Album. We'll have a couple of copies of that to give away later during this interview, but first we're going to hear a song. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, what is the name of the first one you're going to play for us?
So this is from this fifth album, and it's called Beast. A 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. When it was young, it was fun, a helpless little secret. Once it was caught, never gave it a thought whether or not to keep it. But as it grew, part of me knew I carefully must tread and keep any mess well out of the press and bend the truth instead. Don't fly, little beast, to the light. You'll be safe in the dark for a while. For a while, too massive to contain, broken through my locks and chains. And even though my world's invaded, feed the beast that I created. Some secrets, they say, just won't go away, even in the deepest grave. I know now I'm cursed, the roles have reversed, and I've become its slave. Asleep, little beast, twist your head. This will end, swear to God. Look away. Too massive to contain, broken through my locks and chains. And our lives have been cremated, killed the beast that I, 2, 3, 4 created.
And that's Scott Gorsuch playing a track from his new release, The Fifth Album. Let's give away a copy of that right now to caller 4 at 614-821-9223. That's for the new Scott Gorsuch release. Again, caller 4 will pick that up right now. And the number to call here for that is area code 614-821-9223. And you've got a show this evening coming up at, looks like 5:15 p.m. at Natalie's.
That's correct. Yep. I'll be joined by my dear old friend Pat Kenny on bass and vocals over here. And we've got some other special guests coming up, musically speaking, and that should be really, really fun.
So you sometimes bring people on board with you when you make music. Other times you do it all yourself. How about this new release?
So the new one I did just like my first CD that came out 100 years ago, where I played everything kind of Todd Rundgren did. So I've had a band for the second, third, and fourth album, and I just decided to do it all myself on this one again. So it's me on everything. It's all my fault, except for horns, which are some friends of mine, so real horns. And yeah. So obviously I can't play everything at once unless it's Hummus Drum Machine.
So tell us some of the various instruments that you do play.
Sort of in order of okayness, it would be guitar, and then kind of drums and piano stuff are tied, and then bass. I like playing bass. So mainly just the rock and roll sort of instruments.
Everybody plays bass.
Oh, that's not true, man.
You also produce your stuff as well. Is that also true on this release?
Yeah, so I recorded it all myself and mixed and mastered and all of that myself. That's, yeah. My head gets tired from all those hats, but yeah.
All right, well, let's hear another song, and then we'll chat a little more. Is this next one off of your new one?
It is not. It's an older one off of the second album, Overcast. And I don't know why I chose to do this one today, but this one's called Madeline. Yep. 1, 2, 3. Reviewing everything I said and recalling everything you've heard or read. You know that I can't run in place, and I've got to keep my gloves by my face. The things she does to me should make me run. One kiss from Madeline just makes me come back. I don't throw caution to the wind. I don't let anyone under my skin. But is it finally time to lower my defense? How can something be so cloudy and make sense? The things she does to me should make me run. One kiss from Madeline just makes me come back. My soul had been sunken like a wreck upon the floor of the sea. Yeah. My heart had been frozen like a mortuary slab. But that's not me. That's not me. That's not me. So yeah, I may have lost my way. The compass in my head just spins all day. But do I crash this car right here and limp back home? Or do I hold on and drive into the unknown? The things she does to me should make me run.
You had a good time,
But one kiss
from Madeline,
just makes me
I cry doesn't mean that I won't come
back.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Scott Gorsuch playing live in Studio A. That's one of his older tunes, but he's got a new release out, the 5th album. And let's give a copy of that away again right now. And we'll take caller 4 again at area code 614-821-9223. That's 821-WCBE to pick up a copy of the new Scott Gorsuch release. Again, the number to call here for that is area code 614-821-9223. And you build instruments. In fact, you're playing half of an instrument that you built. Can you tell us what's going on there?
Yeah, this was the prototype for a thing called the magnetic double neck. And this is a 12-string, obviously, but I don't know why I didn't bring it. I don't know. But there's a little mini that looks just like this that goes right here underneath and connects magnetically. And it's a 6-string, same scale, everything like that. And the magnet holds it together. In fact, to pull them apart, I got to grab it up here and go and like really yank on them to pull them apart. But it's just fun. Yeah, so that's a thing. I've sold a few to some folks around town in Canada and Nashville and stuff like that.
Well, your new release, you do get help from Tim Perdue on trumpet. He's been here in Studio A few times. And
famous local horn fella.
Fred Gablick, I was actually in a band with him, and who hasn't been in a band with that guy at this point?
Yeah, he's a funny one.
He's played with pretty much everybody at this point. And so tell us about another instrument you created, the Amish drum machine.
Oh, dear. The Amish drum machine was a one-man band project I did several years back. The remains of which, like, we had a flood at our basement and it took it out completely. So it's no longer, rest in peace, Amish drum machine. But it was this thing that I built, and it took me a year and a half of being a nutty inventor dude to, so I would sit down and play guitar, and in front of me I had a real kick drum, a real snare drum, and a real tom, and real cymbals. And I would sing a song and boom, 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 and play the snare and kick with my feet and the tom with my feet. And then I built this weird electromechanical thing with this wooden cylinder, that spins around and makes, okay, this is weird, pinball flippers. Imagine pinball flippers, but they have drumsticks instead. So they're going, and I could switch between hi-hat and ride cymbal. It was super nutty. So no computers, just all hand-built, like programmable in air quotes, that I could like get different beats out of it and stuff. It was really nuts. So look it up. There's some things on YouTube. It's nutty. Maybe like when I'm old and seriously retired,
Brilliant.
I'll build it again.
So can you set it up kind of like a metronome and play along with it?
Oh, yeah. No, it sounds exactly like a power trio. Because I made a pickup on the guitar. This is so nerdy. I'm sorry. I made a second pickup on the guitar that only picked up the low 2 strings through a separate cable through an octave box and a bass amp. So as long as my lowest note I'm playing is on one of those low 2 strings, it sounds like a power trio, like real bass, drums, and guitar. It was not like people would walk in the room when I'm playing and just like do a double take, like what the? Yeah, it was neat.
So you'll be at Natalie's tonight, an early show starting at 5:15.
Yes.
And is there a cover charge?
No, it's a free show, actually. And you have to call and reserve a table if there are any left. So if you want to come, get on that phone or interwebs and make that happen. So yeah, you just have to reserve a table like you're going to go to dinner or something. But it should be so much fun.
Well, where can people go to find out more about your music and your instrument building?
Gosh, do I even have a website anymore? Oh, that's pathetic. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. If you look up my name on Apple Music or Spotify or all of those streaming services. All 5 albums are out there.
All right.
So yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in this morning and playing a few for us. Tell us about this last song you're going to play.
This last song is from this 5th album, and it's the first song. And let me get my cheat sheet dialed up. And this one there's a weird story with this. I don't know how much time we have, but is it cool to
Do it.
Okay.
Bring it.
So a friend of mine and I were at a wedding ages ago, and it's like when you go to a wedding and you know it's not going to work between these people, and they're just sitting there watching them get married, like watching a ship sink, and you're like, oh dear God. And so we weren't taking this wedding very seriously, and it was a Catholic wedding, and we're like sitting in the back trying to like not giggle, and when the priest goes, "And what, dear, would you give to your wife as a token of your undying love forever?" And my friend leans over and goes, "These cheese sandwiches." And we just like almost got kicked out of the church. We just like busted out laughing. And I couldn't get that little phrase out of my head. So like, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years later, I'm like, that seems like a song. And indeed it is. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3. So my girl says I got a fear of commitment, that I can handle her equipment. Since the burden of proof seems to rest on my defense, I need a grand romantic gesture, if that makes any sense. She needs a symbol of our love undying. Ran to the kitchen, whipped one up without even trying. Ooh, 'cause these cheese sandwiches, it's like love on a plate. These cheese sandwiches, all I got, ain't it great? Well, I get around and I seen the world, and I ain't the kind to settle on just one girl. But I must admit, this one's unique. If I want her to stick around, better brush up my technique. Yeah. There's something fine. But I think it'll make her mine. Yeah, there it is. 'Cause these cheese sandwiches, it's like love on a plate. And these cheese sandwiches, all I got, but ain't it great? Woo. Cooked this for no one else. I believe it's special, if I do say so myself. First you take the bread, now you take the cheese, then you stack 'em up in the microwave, if you please. Ew. And my musician life might not be your cup of tea, but it's yours if you want it. If not, set me free. Ooh, 'cause these cheese sandwiches, it's like love on a plate. These cheese sandwiches, all I got, ain't it great? Ooh, these cheese sandwiches, these cheese sandwiches, oh, these cheese sandwiches.